and all of her holy family, Prince Charles. When I was in England, and I spoke in northern England, Friday night I was speaking to this English audience on Saturday, and that night before I was sitting in the hotel watching the birthday of Prince Charles. And Prince Charles is the Queen Mum. I think that's what they call her, Queen Mum. And she comes out, and she's Queen Mum says it's her son's birthday, Prince Charles, and everyone politely applauds. They better applaud, because the Queen owns them. And consequently, he comes out, and she introduces him, and she calls him, he comes out and calls her, "Thank you, Mummy." And everyone thought that was clever. Prince Charles, at his age, calling his mother Mummy. So I said to the English audience, I said, as an American, I got to tell you, this woman looks like a mummy. You put a $100,000 dress on this chump, and she still looks like a mummy. I think the dirtiest, the filthiest, the most licentious, and the filthiest people on the face of the earth are the British royalty. They represent in the human race all that is evil and all that is filthy and degenerate. And when you stop and think about, say it again? Yes, and that's why she's dead. Diana. And John Kennedy probably had a little flash of decency, and they got rid of him. You think it was an accident that Ted Kennedy got into his accident? The mob is good at fixing up accidents. I think that John Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, and Ted Kennedy's accident, I think somebody was wiping out the whole Kennedy dynasty. The Kennedys were involved in a lot of things. Joe Kennedy, the father of John Kennedy, was a criminal of the highest repute. He was a gun runner, prostitution, every kind of filthy degeneracy. John F. Kennedy's father was the biggest criminal, one of the biggest criminals this country has ever had. Okay? And consequently, being one of the biggest criminals, he was sent to England by Roosevelt. Franklin Roosevelt sent Joe Kennedy to England to be ambassador to St. James's Court during the war. And a lot of the people here in this country asked, how come you're sending Joe Kennedy, who everybody knows is a gangster? And Roosevelt said, the whole world is run by criminals. I want the best we got over their representatives. And Joe Kennedy, one of his first official pronouncements as the ambassador to England, one of his first official pronouncements, and he was fired and brought back to this country in disgrace. He went out before the English people and said, we're fighting the wrong guy. We should support Hitler. This is what your leaders are. They're Nazis. All the guys back home, we're all Nazis. You should be helping Hitler. So I'm saying to myself, and this is what he said, that the people of England should be supporting Adolf Hitler, and he was fired because of that and brought back home. I'm saying that there's a lot of words and terms that we use today that we don't understand where they come from. We haven't got the faintest idea in the world what these words mean. When you walk by a church, you go by a church, and you see the pointed arch windows. Why do churches have pointed arch windows? Many of the church doors have pointed arch doors. I mean, logic would tell you it's the female. The box, the female box, is the female. That's why the priest is only the man can be a priest in a Christian church up until recently, because the man, it's symbolic. The man is in charge inside the female arch, not the female. So consequently, it has to do with sexual symbolism. It's an extraordinary story of betrayal. But let me explain to you something very important, and listen closely. There's nothing holy in Israel. There's nothing holy in Salt Lake City. There is for sure nothing holy in Rome. There's nothing holy anywhere on the earth. If there's anything that, when especially the very word holy, you better check that one out. But the concept of something being sanctimonious or beautiful or holy, that may be with God who is in heaven, but it is not here with us. We do not have anything on the earth which is holy. The only holiness that you could hope to achieve is between you and your Creator. And it doesn't need a man, a priest, or rabbi, or clergyman of any kind who are all licensed by the state, 501c3 licensed corporations, to speak for you. You realize when you buy a new car, you get something in the glove compartment called an operator's manual. And so the word operator means that you're buying the vehicle for your personal use. And consequently, if you're buying the vehicle for your personal use, by law, you are referred to as an operator of a vehicle. However, if you're going to use the wheels, truck, motorcycle, bicycle, whatever it is, if you're going to use the wheels to make money, now you're in business. Now that you're in business, we're talking money now, so therefore you got to have a business license to conduct business with the wheels. And according to the law, if you're conducting business, you are now no longer referred to as a operator of a vehicle. You are now called a driver, a truck driver, a cab driver, a bus driver. Driver means you're in business to make money. Operator means you own it yourself. So why the hell do you need a driver's license if you're not making money with the wheels? You don't. It's just that nobody ever told you that. So when you walk in and say, I want a driver's license, they figure, well, okay, then you must be using it to make money. They don't know. How many people know these little small things? And when you go to, if a cop pulls you over to arrest you, and he reads out what he's arresting you for, and he says, do you understand the charge? You know, you see it on these cop shows at night, and they will read out the charge of the poor guy, and they say, all right, here's what you've done wrong, and then, do you understand the charge? Why do they say that? It's because if you say to the police, no, I do not understand the charge, they cannot arrest you. The law says you cannot be arrested if you do not understand the charge. So all you got to do is play dumb. I don't understand the charge. And they'll say, well, the law says there's a red light, and if you go through it, you broke the law. We saw you go through the red light, and you broke the law, and that's why we are arresting you or giving you the ticket. Now, do you understand the charge? You say, nope. What is it you don't understand? I don't understand the charge. What is it about? Huh? No, I haven't needed to, because I drive safe and sanely. But I don't have to have 5 children to know what getting married is like, you know. I don't have to do everything so that I can speak from experience. I can speak from experience on much of what I'm telling you, and the other I can just read like any dope could read a law book. Consequently, I'm saying that we are in the hands, this country is in the hands of traitors, people who are manipulating and using us, and it's being done in such a way that you would never ever suspect how devious this whole system is. Now back to, I only got a few minutes more. According to my calculation, I only got about 10, 15 minutes, right? Huh? Okay. Tomorrow I'm going to have a friend of mine, a partner and a friend of mine named Victor. Vic is a publisher of the book called Cracking the Code. It's a book about have you read it? Seen it? Cracking the Code? Well, and that's my company that published it. And so I'm going to have him explain a little bit about the Uniform Commercial Code and how it affects you. But I also you are going to hear something that is really, truly startling. Did you know, for instance, that when you get a ticket of any kind, a speeding ticket,